Hello and welcome to the Citizen Journalist Show. If election fatigue is setting in, then spend the next 30 minutes here with us as we bring to light an important development that got lost in the din. The President gave his assent to an important piece of legislation, the Whistleblowers Protection Bill. Over the next 30 minutes, whistleblowers and their fight back.
There was one Satyendra Dubey who was gruesomely murdered for standing against corruption and for being honest. If I want to blow a whistle, I would think twice and thrice. Otherwise, I would end up with the fate what Satyendra Dubey and many others have ended up.
मेरा पापा के हाथ काट दिए गए दराते से, वो मैं आया बीच में तो मेरे को भी लाडूसों से मारा गया। जहाँ भी मतलब सूचना का अधिकार का जिसने भी उपयोग किया है तो उनके साथ में ये दुर्व्यवहार किया जाता है, तो मतलब क्या आवाज़ उठाने वाले के साथ ऐसा क्यों होता है?
First on the show, an important piece of legislation. This will actually establish a mechanism that will allow to receive complaints of alleged corruption or willful misuse of power, at the same time protecting the identity of whistleblowers. We all remember the tragic story of Satyendra Dubey, who tried to expose corruption in the Golden Quadrilateral project but paid for it with his life. His brother Dhananjay becomes a citizen journalist. Runjun Sharma brings us the top story.
I'm Dhananjay Dubey, brother of Shri Satyendra Dubey. I don't know how many of you still remember him, but after a decade of his murder, I'm here to refresh the memory of the people that there was one Satyendra Dubey who was gruesomely murdered for doing his duty, for standing against corruption and for being honest.
It started with the Golden Quadrilateral, one of National Highway Authority of India's biggest ever projects, meant to connect the 4 major metros. Crores were riding on this project and crores were being siphoned off, as my brother Satyendra was to uncover. An assistant project manager with NHAI at Kodarma in Jharkhand, he found major financial irregularities in the Bihar stretch. In August 2002, my brother first raised the issue with the department head of NHAI, when even after repeated complaints no action was taken, Satyendra wrote to the Prime Minister. Letter of the 11th November, Satyendra mentioned the systemic corruption in NHAI and named 4 contractors. In the letter, he also requested his identity be kept confidential.
That letter was forwarded down to the Ministry of Surface Transport and then further to the NHAI and to those people against whom Bhaiya were making charges and along with his identity.
Then began a cycle of threats and intimidation.
After 4 months, Bhaiya wrote another letter to the Prime Minister's office saying that, sir, despite my request, my identity has been leaked and I am under tremendous pressure.
Soon after the letter, Satyendra was transferred to Gaya in Bihar. My brother continued his work. It was clear he was becoming an obstacle for many.
Around 3 kilometers of completely built road redone. He got it redone because the quality of material used was not of good standard. He got 5 engineers from the consultant, he got them suspended. So these were the actions that he was taking, and almost everyone there was losing quite bit of their corrupt black money because of his presence. So when in hundreds of crores the money is involved there, it's very easy to the life in India is very cheap.
Almost a year later, on 27th November 2003, we got the news. While coming back home from Gaya railway station at 3 in the morning, my brother Satyendra Dubey had been murdered. For the last 10 years, we have been fighting for justice. 3 people were arrested and given life imprisonment. But I believe that the real culprits, the ones who tried to silence him, are roaming free.
The truth is far from what CBI has shown us. They just got a few poor people, and they made us confess that they have done, but the truth is that they were not the real culprit. The real culprit are still free.
What remains now are his memories.
Bhaiya was like a father to me. He was very, very simple, very humble, and very honest person. I mean, even at the time of his death, he was having I think just 3 or 4 pair of short pants. My sisters, my mother, even till now they are not in a mental state to talk about Bhaiya the way I am sitting here and talking to you. Because if we start talking about his memories, probably I don't know what will happen. So we don't talk about that. If I want to blow a whistle, I would think twice and thrice that no, I should stop myself. Otherwise, I would end up with the fate what Satyendra Dubey and many others have ended up.
Even as we bring you individual stories of courage, the idea is to also create awareness about what constitutes the whistleblower bill and the proposed amendments. For instance, a clear definition on what constitutes victimization of the whistleblower. Suresh Kumar Sharma, our next citizen journalist, could fall in that category. He nearly has 80 cases filed against him across the country. His wife has been transferred from her job multiple times. This after he took on a gas agency for dubious practices.
मैं सुरेश कुमार शर्मा अमृतसर से हूँ। मैंने एक गैस एजेंसी जो कि भारत पेट्रोलियम का एक डीलर है अमृतसर में, जगदेव गैस एजेंसी उसका नाम है, उसके खिलाफ़ एक मुहिम चलाई थी जो कस्टमर से ज़बरदस्ती पैसे ऐंठ रहा था। उसका मैं अप्रैल 2010 में से DFS अमृतसर को उसकी शिकायत की स्थानीय लोगों के साथ लेकर, जहां उन्होंने अपनी गलती भी मानी। कंपनी के मालिक बलविंदर सिंह रटौल ने लोगों को पैसे वापस करने से मना कर दिया। कम से कम 17 बार मैं पुलिस कमिश्नर अमृतसर को मिल चुका हूँ, लेकिन मेरी कोई सुनवाई नहीं कर। उल्टा उस दरमियान मेरे ऊपर 2 फौजदारी और 35-40 जो केस हैं वो मेरे ऊपर डाल दिए। मेरे को अरेस्ट करा दिया गया और 2 बार मेरी वाइफ की इसने बदली कराई है जो अमृतसर से संगरूर करे है। ये पॉलिटिकल दबाव के नीचे मेरे ऊपर करा रहा है वो केस वापस ले ले। पिछले 3 साल से मैं इस मुहिम को उठाए हूँ और लोगों को इंसाफ दिलाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ और लोगों को पैसे वापस दिलाने के लिए मैं हूँ। लेकिन अमृतसर की पुलिस वो मेरे पर ही झूठे आरोप लगा के मेरे को वो कानूनी दावपेच में उलझाना चाह रहे हैं।
Now for our next citizen journalist, whistleblower, Mangla Ram, brutally attacked, beaten up, his legs broken. All he was doing was demanding information under the Right to Information Act for some social sector schemes like the Manrega and the Indira Awas Yojana in his village of Bamnor in Barmer in Rajasthan. The mere act of demanding information led to brutal attacks. When he asked for police protection, the requests went unheeded. Vandana Anand is bringing us Mangla Ram's story.
Threatened, beaten up and harassed, all for standing up for the truth and exposing corruption. I belong to a lower caste, but I dare to question the Panchayat functionaries in Rajasthan's Barmer village, and I'm one of the many RTI activists who've been attacked because we spoke up against corruption.
मेरा नाम मंगला राम है। मैं राजस्थान से बाड़मेर ज़िले का रहने वाला हूँ। मैंने RTI के तहत मनरेगा के अंदर जो कार्य हो रहे थे उसके प्रति मैंने सूचनाएं मांगी थी, तो सरपंच ने मेरे ऊपर हमला बोला, उसमें मेरे दोनों हाथ पैर टूट गए।
The Manrega scheme had been implemented in our village, but me and many others like me were not benefiting from it. Despite several attempts, we were not given employment. I filed an RTI application in 2007 and to my shock found that my name was on the list of employed people. This meant that the officials had been drawing money in my name and I was not the only one. Not just that, money was being drawn in the names of people who did not exist or those who were even dead. I then sought information on the details of the public works sanctioned and carried out between 2001 and 2010 under the Manrega scheme. But what I got was incomplete information. There was clear corruption and an attempt of a cover-up. I then decided to bring this matter up in the panchayat.
मनरेगा के अंदर भ्रष्टाचार जो गांव में मेरे को दिखा, तब मैंने सरपंच महोदय को चिट्ठी लिखी और उसके बाद कलेक्टर साहब को चिट्ठी लिखी, लेकिन उनका कोई मुझे जवाब नहीं मिला। तब मैं सूचना आयोग जयपुर में अपील की और अपील सूचना आयोग जयपुर में की, तब मुझे वहाँ 100 कॉपी का देने का प्रावधान रखा था उन लोगों ने। आयोग के माध्यम से उन्होंने कहा था जो मनचाही नरेगा के अंदर जो मंगलाराम मांगेगा उसको वही सूचना दी जाएगी, लेकिन वो सूचना मुझे नहीं दी गई और उन्होंने अपनी मर्जी से सूचनाएं गलत मुझे दी।
Apart from misappropriation of funds under Narega, the RTI also revealed irregularities under the Indira Awas Yojana. Families below the poverty line were not allotted the Pakka houses as promised. They were given away instead to the Sarpanch family members.
2001 से 2008 में मैंने नरेगा के बारे में जो कार्य के बारे में सूचनाएं मांगी थी, उसमें सरपंच महोदय ने जो कार्य करवाए वो नाडी खुदाई के कुछ काम करवाए, वो मशीन के माध्यम से करवाए, जबकि वो नरेगा के अंदर जो कार्य करवाए जाते हैं वो मजदूर रोजगार में जो बीपीएल परिवार को रोजगार देकर काम करवाया जाता है, वो मशीनों के जरिए से उन्होंने करवाया। और कुछ जो रोड का ग्रेवल रोड बिछाने का कार्य था वो कागजों में लिपापोती कर अपना कार्य पूरा कर दिया गया और मौके पर वो काम नहीं पाया गया। जैसे ही मैं नरेगा की मीटिंग में वहाँ गया, सरपंच महोदय ने अपने सहयोगियों के साथ मेरे ऊपर हमला बोला और उसमें मेरे दोनों हाथ पैर तोड़ दिए गए।
So brutal was the attack that I fractured both my legs.
पुलिस स्टेशन में मैंने एफआईआर भी दर्ज करवाई, लेकिन उस पर वो सरपंच शक्तिशाली होने के कारण, पुलिस में कहीं उसकी ऊंची पहुंच होने के कारण उसको आज दिन तक चालान पेश तक नहीं किए। गांव के 4 दूसरे जो उसके सहयोगी थे उनके नाम लिख करके सरपंच को छोड़ दिया गया।
It's been 6 years. The threats and intimidation has not ceased. My family and I have been braving this without any help of the police. I had used the CJ platform earlier as well, and my efforts were even recognized when I was given the CJ award.
मैं मंगलाराम मेरी लड़ाई जारी रखूंगा और सरपंच की धमकियों से डरकर मैं बैठने वाला नहीं हूं। मुझे जो अधिकार मिला है उसका मैं पूरा प्रयोग करूंगा।
Now, one of the amendments suggested in the whistleblower bill is to seek mandatory compensation for any detriment or loss that a person may have suffered. We'll take a quick break on the Citizen Journalist Show special. Welcome back to the Citizen Journalist Whistleblower Special. Now our next citizen journalist is Genda Lal Rupale. He's a tailor from the Khandwa district of Madhya Pradesh, and like many others, he used the RTI to seek out information about the distribution of Antodaya cards in his particular area. The result, several discrepancies in that information. On the basis of it, an inquiry was ordered and the Sarpanch jailed. Then began a series of attacks and threats. The Sarpanch is now out on bail, and Genda Lal believes speaking out is one way to silence out those threats. Akanksha Pradeep is helping Genda Lal file the Citizen Journalist report.
मैं गेंदा लाल रूपाले, जिला मध्य प्रदेश खंडवा का निवासी हूँ। मैं सिटीजन जर्नलिस्ट शो के माध्यम से ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि सूचना का अधिकार मांगने वालों के साथ किस तरीका का दुर्व्यवहार किया जाता है और किस तरीके से उनको परेशान किया जाता है।
My trouble started when in October 2012 I filed an RTI to seek information about the beneficiaries of the government schemes in my village.
सूचना के अधिकार में ये मेरे को लगा उसमें ऐसी बहुत सी योजनाएं शासन की है कि जिसमें बहुत सा भ्रष्टाचार निकाला गया है। जैसे अंत्योदय कार्ड है तो उसमें स्वयं सरपंच और सरपंच की माँ उसके जो करीबी लोग हैं तो ऐसे मतलब 5-6 नाम उसमें करीबी पाए गए कि एक नाम पे 2-2 कार्ड बनाए गए। इंदिरा आवास में भी ऐसा ही कुछ हुआ कि जो मतलब उसमें जो जिन लोगों अपात्र लोग हैं उनको मिला गया और जो नहीं है मतलब जिनको मतलब मिलना चाहिए उनको नहीं शासन की स्कीम का लाभ मिला। मर्यादा अंतर्गत अभियान में शौचालय निर्माण होते हैं गांव के अंदर, गांव में शासन की स्कीम चल रही है, उसमें एक भी शौचालय नहीं बना और शासन का पैसा वापस हुआ वहाँ से।
Armed with this information, I decided to speak out against the corrupt practices of the Sarpanch in my village.
तो सरपंच ने मतलब क्या अपने बेटे को लगा के मतलब मेरे घर पे पूरे परिवार पे हमला करवाया। मेरे पापा के हाथ काट दिए गए दराते से, और मैं आया बीच में तो मेरे को भी लाडूसों से मारा गया। कार्रवाई हुई उसके खिलाफ, मतलब एफआईआर दर्ज करी, उसमें मतलब क्या उसको गिरफ्तार भी किया गया सरपंच के बेटे को, लेकिन उसके बाद 1 महीने बाद फिर उसको छोड़ दिया गया, मतलब उसकी जमानत करवा ली। अब उसके बाद केस चल रहा है कोर्ट के अंदर, अब क्या होता है फैसला।
This because an inquiry had been ordered into the matter after my expose about the misuse of government schemes by the Sarpanch.
एसडीएम साहब के पास केस गया तो 18/2 को उसको मतलब पद से प्रेरित कर दिया गया। उसके बाद उसने कलेक्टर साहब के पास अपील करी, तो अपील करने के बाद में मतलब अगर मतलब उसकी शासन सुनती है और इतना भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है उसके साथ, उसको मतलब मिलता है कि मतलब शासन की तरफ से फिर वही पद पे आ जाए, तो उसका तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं है।
With the growing number of attacks on RTI activists across the country, my family now fears for my life.
परिवार वाले तो यही चाहते हैं कि भैया मतलब अब तू चुपचाप बैठ जा, जो भी हुआ अपने साथ मतलब क्या है कि बुरा हुआ, कोई शासन प्रशासन से सुनने वाला नहीं है, लेकिन तू अकेला बोलेगा तो क्या होगा। जहाँ भी मतलब सूचना का अधिकार का जिसने भी उपयोग किया है, सूचना का अधिकार लगाया, तो उनके साथ में ये दुर्व्यवहार किया जाता है, तो मतलब क्या आवाज उठाने वाले के साथ ऐसा क्यों होता है।
This has been a small, humble effort. These are stories of just 4 whistleblowers. But across the country, people are fighting similar battles, staking their life, their security, their honor, even their family in some cases, to demand information, to fight corruption and to seek transparency. Let's keep this conversation going about more aspects of the whistleblower bill. Remember, you can write into us on ibncj.com or drop us a story if you've been a whistleblower and have faced intimidation and threat. We're on Twitter and Facebook as well. Till we see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
के चले गए तो अब हमारा क्या होगा।
One day I asked him, "Son, you should have some security. Why are you doing this?" He said to me that if they kill me, I'll come back in another 5 minutes. Okay, I reincarnate and I'll again do this.
एक बार राशन दफ्तर में मेरे चेहरे पर ब्लेड मारा, दूसरी बार अपने घर से ऑफिस आ रही थी वहाँ गले पे ब्लेड मारा, उससे भी नहीं बैठे, तो अब उनको समझ में आ गया कि ये बैठने वाले नहीं है।